Watch. Chase, we have not been asleep at all. We've been up since last night talking about this. I hope you're well.
I love to sleep.
I love to sleep. Hey, happy day 2 of E3. How you feeling?
Is it day 2? I mean, we had the Summer Games Fest. That's not technically E3, I guess. That was Friday, but
that's the appetizer or appetizer,
sure,
depending on where you're eating.
Yes.
So we had a lot of fun last night. This kind of unscripted. Hey, let's get together, talk about the show, and had some fine folks roll through chat a little bit about what was happening, gave some of our hot takes, and I think we're going to do the same thing. Hopefully, we can condense it down tonight. We talked for a long time last night, which
we really did.
We're good at it. That's what we do.
And I think we have even more events, more videos that we watched, more streams that went out today. But I also think overall we have fewer things that we're probably interested in talking about.
Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. We'll see.
Do you want to pitch what we're going to do? I mean, I know we're obviously talking over it, but give the friends and folks here a little taste of what's to come.
Yeah, let's give them the rundown. So there were, I would say, 4 important shows. I mean, I'm not going to count something like the Warner Brothers thing. I think that was mainly just for Back 4 Blood.
Yeah.
So there were a couple other things going on, but the 4 main shows that happened today was Xbox and Bethesda together. Then there was Square Enix.
Mm-hmm.
And then the PC gaming show, and after that, somewhat tied into it, was the Future Game show. And we can, those are the 4 that we're going to kind of cover here.
Yeah.
And each of them had some highs and lows, and we'll talk about all those things.
And then
I watched all these.
I've watched 2 of them. I had to go to a birthday party today for my nephew, so I was away. I was actually out in the sticks, so I didn't have really great service anyway. But I got back home this afternoon, fired up the streams, got to watch those. I actually got to catch some of the PC game show live about halfway through. So once it ended, I went back and watched the beginning part. I'm excited to talk through it. I don't think, just moving ahead here for what we're going to do, there's still some stuff Monday and Tuesday. We'll probably discuss those days' events Wednesday night when we go live with our other co-host, Johnny.
We'll probably talk a little bit about Monday when we do Casual Mondays. But that'll be, we're going to be playing a video game then, so we might touch on some stuff. And then, we'll probably save any Tuesday talk Nintendo stuff that we get really excited for.
Yeah.
We'll save that for the traditional casual hour on Wednesday.
Yeah.
But, Bobby, look at this. Notes.
How's your hand?
Notes. So many notes.
Well, let me kick off.
My hand hurts.
I'll tell you what's going to make it feel better. I'm going to play a video from one of your favorite developers. How about that?
Okay. Yeah, and then after I took all those notes, I decided, well, I should probably have this in a digital format to make it easier. After last night, I thought, it might be nice to have some actual links for you to make these videos a little quicker, a little smoother.
Appreciate it.
So then I just typed a bunch of stuff. God, it felt like I was working. But so Xbox and Bethesda started with Todd Howard coming out saying, "Oh, hey, isn't it great to be on the Xbox team? Right. And by the way, here's Starfield." And then we got to see this trailer for Starfield that's happening.
And I know
what do you think?
I like the look of it. I think it's hard not to compare Fallout, not to compare Skyrim. This certainly looks like it has way more polish than either one of those titles did, which I would hope so. But I'm a sucker for space. I'll take space over fantasy any day of the week. I think I like Fallout better than the Elder Scrolls as a series, and I think this looks really cool. This doesn't tell me anything, and it's all CGI, which is fine. It's alpha footage, so it's hard for me to get super excited. I really liked Fallout 4, and I know I'm an outlier there, but I'm curious what it is. I don't really trust Bethesda all that much, and so I appreciate that this is something new that they're doing. I think that Microsoft is obviously impressed with what they're bringing to the table, but we'll see. It's so far away, it's hard for me to get super pumped right now.
It is. So the big thing we saw, the two big things we saw, one is the release date November 11th, 2022. So
Yep.
that is a ways off. And then this is like we feared, suspected, whatever. This is an Xbox and PC exclusive now. So sorry PlayStation.
Yeah.
Not coming to you.
I think
if it's anything like Skyrim, though, it might come to a Nintendo platform like a decade later. So keep your eyes out for that.
I feel a bit validated in that. That I've been pretty firm on my stance that Microsoft didn't bring that war chest of money just to put this shit on other places, and whether that's good or bad for the end user. The biggest argument I hear against Microsoft right now is they don't have games, and this is certainly a game that a lot of people in the industry have their eyes on, and I think that what they've worded is really clever. Hey, it's available where Game Pass is. So that's we'll see.
And of course it'll be a Game Pass game because it's
day and date.
Because they're Microsoft now. When I watched this trailer, this teaser, really, that you didn't really see much of it. It's just kind of lacking personality to me. And that's certainly because this is supposed to be very slight.
Yeah.
But I'm just not getting much out of it, especially when we talk about another space Bethesda style game that's coming out that we got a trailer for that was all personality. In fact, all personality and no substance.
Yeah.
I am much higher on something like that than I am on Starfield, because Starfield just felt like kind of whatever. Like, honestly, watching this Starfield trailer made me think, oh, you know what? I should actually play some No Man's Sky. That was my thought. Not I should play Starfield. I should play No Man's Sky.
It's interesting too that, and I'll bring this up later on as we're talking about some other games. One in particular, it's interesting to me that this wasn't like, hey, coming holiday 2022. This wasn't coming fall. This wasn't coming summer. This was, hey, 11/11/2022.
Yeah, real date.
You have this game coming. And I find like that, to me, is one of the biggest points of interest out of all the shit I saw today, is how confident that date is already.
I imagine it's because it's a cute date. Like, people like to see cute dates like that. I'm like, oh, it's 11/11/22. It's like the 11's tied together. It's get it? Yeah. You see a bunch of that shit, and it's fine. But could you also see it slipping? Could you see this slipping to 2023?
Yeah, I definitely could see that happening. I think they put a date out there because they had to do something for Starfield. And they don't have a lot to show right now, so a date puts a little pressure on them, and maybe they got that Microsoft money now. Maybe that'll do the trick for them. But we'll see.
So before we move on to some of the other games in this, I just kind of want to talk about this show generally, because I had a pretty great time watching all this. Even if I didn't love all the games they were showing, I think they had a really great pace. It was bad for my hand because it was just game trailer, dates, titles.
30-some games, right?
30 games, and 20. I think they said 27 of them were Game Pass games.
Wild.
Were coming to Game Pass. A bunch of stuff that said either console exclusive or console launch exclusive. I don't have all. I don't know if I have all of those written down because, again, it was pretty rapid fire. Yep. But until they did quite a bit until, what was it? Maybe like I can't remember which game it was. But like finally they slowed down a little bit and like, we'll tell you more about this one game. And I was like, oh, thank God. Thank God. But it was such a nice rapid fire pace that I think really works on a stream like this in a COVID era, in a post-COVID era, where it's like you don't have a bunch of fans in a ballroom. You aren't trying to put up a trailer that's going to get claps. You're just trying to get people excited, and these are people at home.
Yep.
And I think they really made a good show for that. Yep. Another thing I really liked is that even though they didn't show some stuff, they paid the tiniest bit of lip service to stuff just to like let you know it was there. Elder Scrolls 6 got a mention. Yep. Like they didn't say like here's a date for Elder Scrolls 6. They didn't say anything. They just like, yeah, hey, duh, like we're making it. We got the Elder Scrolls 6 coming. There was another one, the Forza Motorsport 6. They're like, yeah, we're working on Horizon right now, which we'll talk about later. And then, you know, the teams back there working on Motorsport 6. We're working on Fable. We're not going to show you Fable right now, but we're working on Fable. You know that we're working on it. And I found that really refreshing because we've been so used to companies only showing us the stuff when they get excited or when they know that they can actually talk about it fully, even though like it's a worst kept secret. Like this is what I wanted out of Ubisoft. I wanted them to say, yeah, we're still working on Beyond Good and Evil 2. You know it. It's not here. It's fine. We'll get to it. That would have been something to me, but the fact that they didn't say a word about it was kind of disappointing. And I really appreciated that Xbox just threw it out there like, we're working on it.
A great level of confidence that they brought out of the I think Devolver is like the outlier here where they've got their own zany circus they bring everybody to, and that's fine. But like we talked about the Wholesome Direct and how it felt a little choppy even on how they were going through it. And that wasn't their job to sell those games to you, but to celebrate them, where Microsoft had a lot of eyes on them right now. We talked about this last night where they didn't have the games to go with the hardware this time around, and COVID did them no favors, but they've also been putting a lot of pieces on the table and just getting things lined up and working behind the scenes. And to your point, it is great that they're like, hey, we talked about this last E3, we're still doing it, it's coming along, let's show you some other shit that you haven't seen yet. And it makes me think that they're going to continue to have conversations like that moving throughout the year, where they have their Xbox events. You brought up Fable. I'm bummed. Like I'm just really curious what's going on with Fable, but I totally understand it. And you know, Jiggy's here saying Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a money laundering scheme. At this point,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt is just stealing your money.
Yeah, just taking it. So I think that they showed up really well. I like the formatting, and even not last year but the year prior. I think that they did a nice job pacing it. This felt really good. It's like, hey, here's a game, here's exclusivity, here's when it's coming. Like boom, boom, boom. It was really well done. Like very, very well done. My question before we start to go through these, and maybe this is going to be a tell, if you want to hold on to this before or until after we get through some of them. You have an Xbox. You have a launch Xbox One.
Correct.
I know that there's some things coming that you are like, I know Psychonauts 2 is a thing. Like that's a thing that you are. Yeah. Are you looking at like getting an S or something?
Psychonauts is a bad example because that is a game that was announced before Double Fine got bought, so they actually do have a PlayStation version of that. I think that'll be Double Fine's last PlayStation game.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm not worried about Psychonauts 2. I can play that on the thing. But when we get to something like Forza Horizon 5, which we'll talk about, that's something that I look at and go, fuck. Yeah. I do kind of maybe I do want one of these machines. I don't think, to kind of give the game away, I don't think I need to pony up for an Xbox One X or S right now.
Yeah.
Certainly because they're still really hard to get.
Yeah.
Like PS5s, like Switches, honestly. I can wait until the global chip shortage gets a little less.
Yeah,
shortage.
Totally.
So we'll see. But let's run down some of these other games.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about all of them. Like I think we can skip over something like Stalker 2, which I thought looked pretty good, but like that's not necessarily in our wheelhouse. I think we'll talk about some of the bigger stuff, and we'll talk about some stuff that's a little bit more relevant to us.
Sure.
So skipping through a couple things, like Back 4 Blood was shown too, and we talked about that last night, so let's not cover that again. The next one I thought was interesting was this trailer for Contraband, which we're showing right now.
Yeah.
From Avalanche Studios. It's just kind of this trailer. We didn't really see any gameplay.
No.
But they announced that it's a co-op open world game.
Heist.
It looks like it has some kind of heist elements to it, And the music in this, the song choice they picked for the trailer is really good.
Yep.
And kind of sets that mood. I'm really, really excited for what they're going with. Yeah, Jiggy sounds right. That Steely Dan is just enough. That's what they needed.
I know that I'm a lot like with being on PC now and like having Game Pass, like it's just cool because like anytime I got excited about something I saw here, I'm like, yeah, I'll have that game. Like that'll be something that I absolutely get to check out, and that's a really cool thing. This style, the music, the look, Avalanche, they know how to make an open world, in my opinion. I think they do a nice job with it. And if it's going to have some of the zaniness that you're going to see from the Just Cause series, maybe not going that far, but if they bring in kind of like how an Ocean's movie feels when they're doing heists, like
Sure.
that level of fun, like, I think that could be really, really good.
And this is one of those Xbox PC exclusives. This will not be coming to PlayStation.
Yep.
Not even like a timed exclusive thing. This is exclusive. So I think it looks good. It would probably end up being something I don't get to play if I don't end up buying that Xbox, but it did seem kind of cool.
Yeah.
Moving on to Sea of Thieves. You've talked about Sea of Thieves on the show before, right? You enjoy Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, I have not stuck through like a season or played enough of it, like, but I've got people that orbiting around me that this is like the way that you go about Destiny, they go about Sea of Thieves. And
Well, it's getting a new expansion really
Yeah.
soon too, June 22nd. That's a week and change away, and it is Pirates of the Caribbean themed. Getting some Jack Sparrow, getting some Davy Jones. They got some pretty impressive sound alikes. I am 100% positive that is not Johnny
Yeah.
Depp.
Yeah.
But they did get some really good stuff. Jiggy points out GamesBeat kind of teased and leaked that yesterday, but we did get to like really see it today. And I thought it looked good. I still don't really care about Sea of Thieves. It's not something that's important to me, but it seems like a similar way to No Man's Sky. They
Absolutely.
had some stumbles out of the gate, but they have continued to build and develop that game and really gain a following of pretty hardcore players, and it's working for them.
Yeah, I think that this game is got a following to it. Obviously, bringing in one of the more recent, loved pirates with Pirates of the Caribbean, I think makes a lot of sense. The game looks good. It's got some of the best looking water in any game I've seen, and it's got a nice loop to it. I'm happy for Rare. I'm happy for Xbox. Like, this has been a good investment on their end. This was a smart play for sure.
Yeah. Next up is 12 Minutes, which we've seen quite a bit of in the past. This was nothing new for us, but I still find this game fascinating.
Oh yeah,
and cannot wait to play it. It's got a really nice cast: James and Daisy Ridley,
William Dafoe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's in it too. He's the antagonist. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I believe he's the antagonist.
This game looks. I was hooked when I first saw it. I
Great concept.
Yeah, and like, I don't want to say like I blindly like just say, oh, that's Annapurna, that's going to be good, but I usually will say that's going to be a pretty damn good game. And
they're one of those places that finds good gems, that is able to nurture those gems. It's pretty good. They're very Devolver in that way.
Yep.
Of like, oh yeah, I'll give this a chance. So that's coming out August 19th as a console launch exclusive for Xbox, and it's also coming to Game Pass. So that's probably something I get to wait for. But
I was going
to get to play it right away.
I should have brought this up when I asked you the question, because
Yeah.
this was on the key leasing was on Friday, right?
Yes.
Okay, on Friday, I think it was Friday like afternoon, there was some information coming from Phil and the team at Microsoft talking about the future of Game Pass, and they can like pretty much confirmed in that conversation, hey, we're looking to bring Game Pass to smart TVs as an app. And you would just hook because most smart TVs allow you to do Bluetooth connection. You can use your Xbox controller that way. And then now that you have the internet at your house, you could just play some of these games on your TV that way and get to check that out, which would be, I mean, hell, then you're not into it for that much. You're just looking at Game Pass.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's an interesting thought for sure, and there still is that nebulous possibility that I'll get a PC. You know what? I did put 7 entries into the PC game show for that god awful Mech Warrior themed PC.
Oh boy.
So if I win it, I can strip all that shit off and
I know.
have a
I
PC.
hope that's your PC. God, Jiggy.
That'd be great. You know what? I wouldn't strip it off. I would show it proudly. I'd put it in the shot every time and go, look at this piece of garbage. Look at what I have.
Jiggy says that Annapurna and Devolver are the best two publishers at the moment, and I think there's something very true about that.
Like I might put Nintendo up there, but I think that is mostly nostalgia's sake.
Sure.
But yeah. Anyway, let's move on. Psychonauts 2. This is a game at least I know quite a bit about because I backed it on Fig, so I've been getting updates semi-regularly whenever they put them out. I'm nervous.
Are you nervous about this one? I thought you said that you're like in.
I just kind of had a media blackout on it. I wasn't I wasn't seeking out information. And they'd send some backer updates, and I'd halfway skim them. I kind of trust Double Fine to make this game well. I did watch this trailer. I enjoyed the trailer. Looks like a lot of good Psychonauts looking shit. And
because Psychonauts is your favorite game.
It kind of goes between Psychonauts, Portal, Pokemon. Any game that starts with P, Persona. Those kind of play in there. Well, Into the Breach doesn't start with P, Bobby. Yeah, it's a very important first place game has to start with a P.
Got it.
For some reason. But yeah, like I would say generally, this is if somebody asked me what my favorite game is, I'd point to Psychonauts. Yeah, I like a lot of what they're doing here. They brought back quite a bit of the voice cast.
I want my beard to look like that,
which is awesome. Yeah. So do I. I wish your beard looked like that.
Make it look like a Swiss roll.
So good stuff. We'll see. That's coming out August 25th, and I'm looking forward to playing that. That'll be a day one play for me on PlayStation.
Hell yeah. I got
the next game. I think you might find interesting.
Yeah,
Party Animals.
Yeah, for sure.
And mainly because it just features a corgi.
I know.
And I know that's a big deal.
I know, man.
Household. This is a console launch exclusive that is also coming to Game Pass, coming out in 2022. I was shocked to find that this isn't made by the Gang Beast developer.
I was thinking that or the Fall Guys.
Because it is just physics-wise, looking at some of these animations and the way some of this stuff works, it just looks like fucking Gang Beasts.
It does. I mean, I don't know if this is going to pull people from like the Among Us crowd or the Fall Guys crowd. Like, I don't know if that's what this will do. Maybe. I don't know.
What if they put a 2B skin in there? How about now?
You give me a corgi and a 2. No, I want that pig in a 2B skin.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that tiger just threw that thing in the. Oh boy.
What if you could get Jeff Keighley's face as a?
I want Jeff Keighley's face on a 2B skin.
Yeah. That's great. I like where we're going with
this.
Give
it to me, you cowards.
But yeah, Party Animals. It looks silly and fun, and yeah, not quite Gang Beasts 2, but. And that's fine. The next game I thought was really, really cool. It's called Somerville. And this is another console launch exclusive that's coming to Game Pass. This gave me some big Kentucky Route Zero vibes, just in terms of tone, a little bit art style.
It looks like Annapurna should be making this one too.
Yeah, it's just got a really good look to it. This one is also coming out in 2022. And just, man, there are a lot of... I know I complained yesterday about Wholesome Direct and how all the games kind of fell into the same stuff. And I think today there were a ton of games that I could just call, they were basically just trying to make Inside. There are a bunch of studios trying to make Inside, and yet I'm into all of them. I'm into Trek to Yomi. I'm into this. There are going to be another couple games that we talk about later that all... basically are just Inside, that 2D scrolling side scroller stuff that's more narrative based, but all of them just look really, really good, and I just want them all.
This game has such a look to it, and that was I don't want that to be my rebuttal to every game I see, but I think that games are getting even more stylized, and not just like better graphics or better production. Like there's an absolute design choice being made in a lot of games right now that is just fucking paying off for me in such a big way. So this game looks awesome. They did confirm this is Game Pass, right?
Yes.
Yep. Very cool. All right. I got some thoughts.
Yep, we got to talk about it.
Got some thoughts. Let me just get this out there first really quick. I'm clearing out some of these tabs. You're much more into Halo than I am by a lot. You've read a lot of the books, like you understand a lot what's going on with it.
That's the way to find a true Halo fan, or like somebody who's lost their way in life, is like, how many Halo books have you read?
Right. So I felt, and this is that I don't think that they were very confident in what they were showing with Halo today. And it was an odd choice to focus on what they did.
I think they played it safe.
They absolutely did. And they didn't, I mean, outside of that big shot there, they showed some cool stuff, like the multiplayer's fine. And there looks to be some interesting things they're doing with it. I think that it being, free to play cross-plat, that's bold and cool for them. But this whole thing with Master Chief, just... Yeah.
I mean, this space scene specifically, it's like, it's...
Right.
It is very dark. It is very hiding any potential problems that people might have. So it's all just some nice lighting, and we really just had to make one super nice model in the Chief, and everything else is like it's okay because the lighting kind of covers it up. Yeah, you're right. We had that big sweeping shot, but again, it was super far away, so it wasn't like look at our enemy models, look at that brute's face, look at how that brute's face is different from the brute face you remember before, to kind of put it in our faces. Jiggy's right. It looked okay, but I think it looked okay in the way that they were hiding it. They purposefully made something that could look okay. They played to their strengths instead of really showing us that this game is gorgeous, which is the problem that a lot of people had, myself included, when we saw them show it off before.
And I this is what I was talking about earlier when we brought up Starfield. The fact that Starfield can come out and show a bullshit teaser when this game that we're looking at right now was supposed to be out last year, and they can say confidently 11/11/22, which we all know can fucking change. But the fact that they're still showing this, the way that they're showing it, and they can't even say a date. They just say holiday.
They said this holiday specifically.
Sure.
So I'm thinking 2021. I don't think they could go into 2022. But yeah, this was the game that I think I understand like what they're doing. Like they focus and they shifted their focus pretty quick after this, but on all the adverts for this presentation, like Master Chief was the biggest thing on it. And I think he's still such a big seller to people.
That's true.
Like people see Master Chief, they think Xbox, they think Microsoft. That's just going to be the way it is, even if it's not the most impressive game here. And honestly, like outside of the way it looks, and we can just put that to the side, I found the story stuff that they were talking about there kind of interesting. I kind of like the intrigue that's going on there. And the multiplayer stuff actually really sounded good.
It looked all right.
I'm more interested in playing Halo Infinite multiplayer than I am in going back to the Crucible and Destiny, and I play Destiny all the fucking time.
Yeah.
So it looked silly. It looked fun. It looked like they made a new Blood Gulch, or I guess technically that's a new Valhalla, with a bunch of extra conveyor belts and bullshit on top of it. There's so many things going on there. It looked ridiculous in a good way. And knowing that it's free to play is pretty interesting. Like maybe I'd give that a shot. I could totally see that.
And Jiggy, I agree with you and with Chase that like I do think it'll come out in holiday. It just is. It's such a weird thing.
That's what they said.
Well, yeah, but the fact that that Starfield, you don't even know what Starfield is, has a release date, and we don't have one of those for this.
But that release date is after Halo. It's like Halo knows that it's coming out this time, and I could say, hey Bobby, September 28th, 2045, we're gonna do this. I'm confident in that date, And then it's like, fuck it, nobody's gonna remember 5 years from now or whatever.
Right.
Like, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I thought they did an okay job. I thought it was kind of telling that it wasn't their last thing they showed in the show, and it wasn't the first thing they showed. It was just something they kind of stuck in the middle. Hey, we got the Halo. Let's show some bits that won't be offensive to people. Let's not get raked over the coals like we did last time.
Right.
And then let's quickly move on to something else.
Yep.
And that's fine. And that something else was Diablo 2 Resurrected. Which did you ever play Diablo 2?
I did not. I played Diablo 3 on my Switch. I am definitely interested in playing Diablo 2 because I've had friends who swear by it. Definitely.
That's the good one. I mean, I know Diablo 3 got there and people really liked Diablo 3 as well, but Diablo 2 is like some people's favorite game ever.
Yeah.
And for me, I never played it because I wasn't a PC game player. But I actually had an English teacher who, when we had free days and we had something going on, like last day of school kind of thing, he would just take out his laptop and he'd play Diablo 2 and we'd just watch. Yeah. There'd be like a group of kids behind him watching. It's like, oh, this looks so cool. Look at these big orbs. There's this blue orb and this red orb, and it just looks so fast and fun and cool. And the way you put all the inventory shit in and had to move all around, that looks so cool. I want that game. But I never played it. And I really enjoyed something like Torchlight or the original Torchlight. I haven't really liked the other Torchlights. And then Diablo 3 I found to be pretty enjoyable as well. But Diablo 2 is that king.
Are you going to pick it up, you think?
I think I probably will. It depends on platforms. It depends on if it plays well on a console with a controller. This is a game that feels like it's meant to be played on a PC or at least on some kind of computer. And if I had a proper mouse for my laptop, maybe I'd do that. I don't know.
Well, you could also put the mouse up to your Switch now.
I can. What?
Thing? The Garage game that just came out. You can hook a mouse up to the Switch dock and use that mouse when designing stuff in that game, and that's fucking crazy. That's crazy.
That's crazy. That's cool.
Yeah.
They had to make specific. I guess that means it could technically work with any game then.
Yeah.
That'd be a very weird, bad way to try that.
I know. I know.
But I appreciate it. As a person who used an e-reader for his GBA, I'm used to going through great, arduous lengths to get stuff to work.
Absolutely.
But yeah, that's cool. And this Resurrected is kind of interesting that it showed up right after Halo, because it kind of has that anniversary look to it where you can swap back and forth between the old look and the new look, and I appreciate that.
Totally.
Let's talk about shredders.
Yeah, let's do it, man.
So yesterday we talked about Ubisoft. We talked about that Riders Revolution, Riders Rebellion, Riders.
The one that looked like we were comparing. Yeah, we were comparing it to their
Riders Republic.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that had snowboarding in it. It looked a little sillier than this for sure. Shredders, I thought, looks like the snowboarding game I kind of want. It's not nonsense. It's not amped. It's not. I really liked Amped 1 and 2. I thought did a pretty good job. But Amped 3 is where they started to go way off the rails and have a lot of fun with it, and that was cool. But there was some kind of purity to the snowboarding I really appreciated in like the first Amp. Giggy throws it out there. 1080 snowboarding is another one. That first 1080 snowboarding.
I thought that's what this was when it first came. I thought we were getting a new 1080. And
1080 is a Nintendo property, so
I know
that's not happening. But this I thought looked really, really good. Just very smooth. The soundtrack, at least behind this trailer, was super nice and chill, and just kind of made going down a really dangerous mountain relaxing. And that was something I was was pretty taken by.
You know what I want from this? Sorry, I didn't mean to click on those other scenes there. As I was.
God! Oh, look at all that.
Um,
Transitions.
I want. This is a really weird specific thing, but I think it would be badass, especially for a game like this, where if you said, "Hey, what do you got going on tomorrow night? I've been practicing this run in shredders. Can you come in and follow behind me as the camera and just like take pictures?" And like, if I could log in and I had complete control of like a free moving camera to follow you doing this, and I could be doing clips, I could take photos of you doing all these runs, and at the end of it, like, oh, here you go, this is what I did. And then you can edit it, put together like stickers on it and shit like that. Like, I think giving a friend the ability to run photo mode while you're doing something, and I think even in Forza that would be cool. But I think for something like this, especially, that would be really badass, and that would be a really cool thing.
It also just seems like such an edge case, because all of those features are things that you mostly can do by yourself. Like, you just go back through your old footage. That's something that Skater XL did really well, where it has you you're able to go and make those kind of skate videos after the fact, and you can go back through your run and you have that free camera and do all that stuff. I like the idea. I like it actually even more if it was more limited, where if that friend behind you only got to do the stuff from the board, so they had to strategically get into specific spots.
Yep,
and
that's what I'm saying. Like,
just free move everywhere.
Like yes, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, that's cool. I think I'd play this. I don't know why. Like, something like this looked way better than something like Steep to me from Ubisoft, which was in a very similar vein of, it's kind of just pure snow sports. And this also was that, but it for whatever reason just looked nicer to me. Let's talk about Atomic Heart. Shredders comes out this December. It's a console launch exclusive and is also coming to Game Pass. So yeah, let's talk about Atomic Heart. This was a game that I was I didn't know what to feel about it as I was watching it. It was odd. And then finally something clicked in my brain where I thought, oh, this kind of reminds me of like PsyOps the Mindgate conspiracy with its mix of guns and psychic powers.
I was really into what I saw here. I thought this looked really cool, but this is, like, I don't want to say this is like my shit by any stretch, but it reminds me of some of the stuff in Control, like the weirdness of Control meets Far Cry. But
what's the other game from the Control people? Quantum Break.
Quantum Break. Sorry.
It has some feel of that too, where like some kind of odd, shattery stuff going on.
The character modeling though looks like a Kojima game.
You think?
I think that like the details and like the characters and how that is, like, I think the way that they were framing some of those shots of people, especially, like, reminded me of like some Death Stranding shit at times. But no, I think it looks interesting. Like, not something that was on my radar, but definitely there now.
Yeah. I'm really excited to talk about this next game, that is Replaced, which is another console launch exclusive that's coming to Game Pass. Comes out in 2022. This
might be my favorite thing shown.
I'm going to use your term. Has a great look to it.
God damn it, Chase. This fucking hits all the right notes for me. The presentation, like, even like that, I'm gonna go back to, like, I'm a big sucker for those types of transitions also, but like how it pans out from this to the full 16:9 here, I think was like really cool about bringing you into the world. One of the things that like fucking just I love, especially when you see this move forward, is how they've positioned the depth. So I think that it's far enough away, but like, especially when they get into some of the cities, like how you get the reflections and you get that life up front, the layers that are going on for being 2D especially. Holy shit, man, this game has style, and it's cyberpunk. It's got some really well done pixel shit to it. The combat looks fucking fantastic in this. But to your point earlier, it looks like it might play a lot like
Another Inside. Yeah.
another Inside, or
it's fast though. It's way faster than something
Yeah.
like Inside, and that's kind of cool.
This
It actually
right
reminds
here.
me. What was the game that Microsoft showed off a couple years ago that we all
The
thought
night
looked really
before,
rad?
or the night of?
Yes.
Or that's
Yeah,
the HBO
I
show.
think it was night before.
That was the one that had the guy that was not
Yes.
very good, right?
Yeah.
Pizzagate guy.
That's the one. Yeah, I forgot enough about that game. And I don't even remember if that game
never came out. No.
But like this had a similar vibe. Like that was more cyberpunk kind of stuff, and this is touching some of that, but it's not quite that. It's a little bit more post-apocalyptic than it is.
It looks so good. This was.
I thought it looked great.
This was for Microsoft especially. Like this was my high water mark for the show.
Yep.
This right here, man. The way that they do this camera tilt, God, that's so good. It's so good. Okay.
Yeah.
I am excited for this one as well.
Yeah, you're the Grounded fan.
I am.
Tell me more about Grounded. It was something I never played. I mean, it's an Obsidian game, so I should like it, but it just was something I never jumped into. So
I lost myself in it. It's a crafting game as well, base building, but it is like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, as you can see here. I liked the combat beats a whole lot, and the world was just so fucking charming to be in. They've added a lot of stuff. They showed a little bit the zip lines. The bees got added. The birds got added in on one of the last updates. But this next one seems to really be adding in some pretty crazy shit that I think is going to break prior builds of the game. Because
they're sitting. You can sit now.
You can sit now.
Everything.
It's also.
I really appreciated the trailer. I think Obsidian makes great trailers. There's another one we'll talk about here, but. Like the trailer just is so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're adding some really great new features in here, like sitting, which is some, and they even like do the aside of like you guys really wanted to sit, and they just show a bunch of posts of people going, "Can I sit? Can I sit?"
But this is cool too. With
all that stuff was great,
showing off the arachnophobia mode, but the brood mother. So this is really cool to me because that's that right there. If I go back for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Give me 1 second here. They show this little thing there. So you find this in the game. And this is like there's all these ants. There's like hundreds of ants' heads worshiping this thing. And it's the broodmother spider. And you hear it and you hear of it. I didn't think it would be this soon, but you get to fight the broodmother, which is really fucking cool. Grounded's a lot of fun, man. There's some definitely like I want to see more of the Obsidian storytelling in it because the parts that you get feel very New Vegas as far as like the level of tone that the characters have. Like, it's a pretty serious game for being a bunch of kids. Like you find skeletons and shit in the backyard, and it's really neat. I like that game a whole lot.
And they also announced that this is going to have pets in it too. In this Shroom and Doom update. I don't think it's quite Pokemon levels of hey, you can bring this guy with you and fight for you, but. It did, that seems like the right kind of call for a game like this. But yeah, that is soon. That is June 30th.
Is that a full? That's just the update. They don't have 1.0 yet, right?
Right. That is just this update, and I think they said that update's free too.
Everything's been free so far.
So that's pretty cool.
This one's for Jiggy.
No, this one's for me. Fuck Jiggy. Like I know he's excited about it. Fuck that. I'm excited about it. I backed this project. I've got skin in the game. I put money on this. This is Ayuden Chronicle 100 Heroes, and it is from the makers of Suikoden.
Okay.
And that's what people are excited about. They're basically making another Suikoden. It's 100 characters that you can find, 100 party members. Well, maybe not necessarily party members. Some people in Suikoden you'd put in your castle, but they'd count as part of your 100 heroes, and it just looks great. I again, like similar to Psychonauts, I've been seeing some of this stuff. They've been doing monthly updates. They haven't had any real gameplay like this before. It's always just been screenshots or concept art or stuff like that. But this just looks awesome.
What's it look like, Chase?
It's got like an HD 2D look to it, similar to an Octopath Traveler.
But it's a little bit different. Like it's more defined characters than what their characters are, right?
Definitely more than Dragon Quest. Maybe so in the case of Octopath. I mean, Octopath tries to make them specific characters, but because there are so many characters in Eiyuden Chronicle, they really need to make them stand out. Like, there's a guy who's like a half man, half shark, who's
Oh,
just got
wow.
like a big shark head and a big strong man body. There's a lot of weird, fun, neat shit in here, and I love all these combat animations. They are incredibly gorgeous, and I'm super excited to see what that game is. And I knew it was going to take them forever to make, and it is. They put a 2022 mark on here.
Wait, there's two
Um,
games?
that's the big surprise. I didn't know anything about this other one, Eiyuden Chronicles Rising, and that's something that. Oh wait, sorry, I messed up. I'm looking at the thing here. The one I want, the RPG, is actually coming out in 2023. That's
Wow.
even later. Rising looks like it's a 2D action game,
Okay.
maybe that just kind of takes place in a similar world. It might even be like a prequel kind of thing, or some kind of taste of what we're going to get in the world of Eiyuden Chronicle. And that game is coming out in 2022.
So let me ask
Which
this question too. Is this tied to
yeah,
Xbox or is this like a limited exclusivity?
no, no, I don't even think it's limited exclusivity.
Okay.
It is because I backed it on Kickstarter, and I
Got
believe
it.
I put like a Switch, or I don't have it in front of me, but I think they're on all the consoles, so
It's got
I'm not worried about it.
it's got that look that I liked a whole lot from Octopath, and even now the upcoming remake for Dragon Quest. Um, I liked a lot of the talking head stuff that I saw too. I really liked the cutouts that they were using for that one. So this could be a sleeper one for me. I don't think I have the affinity for it that you and Jiggy do, but it's definitely something that I'm very curious to see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm pretty psyched about it for sure. Um, so let's go back to Obsidian and let's talk about The Outer Worlds 2,
Yeah,
which was another great trailer. And I think, as we mentioned earlier, really contrasts with the trailer for Starfield,
yeah.
because this was all personality and no substance. There was nothing. In fact, that's the whole point of the trailer, is them saying we don't have anything. All we have is a name, but here's a bunch of bullshit that we're going to kind of throw at you. Like, here's this monster. Are you ever going to see it again?
Nope,
No.
nope.
Like, that was like a jab at No Man's Sky almost. Like,
Yeah,
hey, here's this monster in this trailer.
yeah.
Never going to see it again. Yep, good, nicely done. Um, eh, you know, I like that first game. I didn't finish it. I know you did, and really enjoyed
Mhm.
that game quite a bit.
Yeah.
Uh, but like, a second game makes all the sense in the world to me, and good on them.
What
That's
wasn't
great.
so they the last E3 they showed Avowed, right? Because Avowed is the Obsidian Skyrim, basically.
Yeah. Is that the one where you had like magic in one hand and a
Yeah.
sword in the other?
So I
Yeah,
was really curious because now they've shown more stuff for Grounded, which is great. They're showing a sequel here to the Outer Worlds, which also this is great. But I would have loved to be like, hey, Avowed's coming along, we got this happening. But
yeah.
I I think if I remember correctly, didn't they say that they were shifting some of those resources from Bethesda over to help on other properties, like that was helping out on Fable even? Is that a thing?
I'm not sure. I
Okay.
could totally see that. I imagine that Avowed comes out before Outer Worlds 2,
Yeah, I
but
would hope so.
that is a good question. Maybe with that Microsoft money, they have enough capital to be able to afford three teams, like one to
Yep.
do Grounded. I would imagine anybody who was working on DLC stuff for Outer Worlds 1 is now working on Outer Worlds 2, and then you got people on Avowed. Or maybe just Outer Worlds is so in pre-production, like they said, all they have is a name. Maybe they don't even have stuff that they can do with this game until Avowed even comes
This
out.
came out. You put this on PlayStation, right?
I did.
So I don't think this one will be on PlayStation.
No, God no.
So this, if you like that game, that's kind of that sucks. I mean, if you like this game, because it's on Switch too. Get Game Pass.
Well, it might still come to Switch. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
we've got other Microsoft properties that
That's true.
A Microsoft property that's definitely not going to come to Switch is Forza Horizon 5,
Man,
which I think was, we like Replaced a lot. There were some other games here that I thought were really cool. I think this was the game of Microsoft.
Oh yeah, well they spent the most time with this one. Is this where you got to take your break and
this is where I got to take my break, got to rest the hand
and
a
that's
little
good
bit.
because you love this series.
I really do.
You got to watch this, which was cool. You weren't having to take too many notes. This looks so fucking good.
I didn't play the first Horizon, but I've played all the ones since, and just had an absolutely great time. This game looks gorgeous.
Yep.
They're in Mexico now, which I think is a really good environment for them to play around with a lot of different kinds of biomes.
Yep, for sure.
It's just, man, it is slick looking.
It is. So this was, when I came back to Xbox, and I left Xbox, went to PlayStation 4. The S came out. They had a bunch of deals on it. I got that really cool green one, but it was along the same time that Forza Horizon 4 came out. And I hadn't really played these games before then, and I remember having that new Xbox One S and playing that, and I was like, holy shit, this is just really, really cool. Like, this is the perfect balance of sim and arcade. And it's got great customization. I thought the races were really well done. I like the different types of cars, and I mean, I was looking at these new Broncos for a while. Like, I love the old Broncos and the old K5 Blazers, and to see that you can get the new Bronco in the game, like, I'm already thinking, like, I'd love to customize that car in the game and see what I can do with it. It's really cool, man. Like, this is a console seller, 100%, without a doubt. Like,
yep, totally agree.
This is
I like
a showstopper.
I like the tone that they're going for too. Forza Horizon 4 got real silly in some of its things. You had the fucking dances that got him into trouble, where they had like you could do the Carlton on top of a waterfall. Some of that stuff got a little too silly. This seems to be a little bit more serious, just slightly more serious. It's still all about having fun. It sounds like the idea of the game, there's even a single player campaign in this now, which sounds interesting. And it's all about exploring the world of Mexico to kind of scout it out as the next place for the Horizon event to take place.
That's awesome.
And that's a neat idea. It's a good way of having kind of a more serious thing. They're going to show, or maybe you're already seeing it or already showed now, because I'm seeing it on the stream now, and so it's a little bit delayed, but they're bringing in some real art from Mexico in real places. They've really handcrafted a bunch of stuff to try to make it authentic, and I think that's just a really nice touch. There's a lot of cool stuff. And then at the end of this trailer, they showed off there is an event lab, they're calling it, that you can make custom races, build custom tracks, and also have custom rules for those tracks. So we saw like giant bowling pins that they're driving through as they're going on. So it looks like you can have a lot of silly fun with a mode like that, and that seems pretty cool. But that is coming out November 9th.
Yes, which is wild.
And it's only Xbox Series X and S. It's not coming to Xbox One. Pretty sure.
And so cloud, PC.
That's the one. Oh yeah, PC of course. Yeah. That as
well. This is where I see you getting an Xbox. I see you getting.
This is where I see me getting a PC.
Yeah, I mean, like that's
like why would I spend that money on an Xbox when I know that I would still be locked out of a bunch of games that I want to play on PC?
That's the move, my friend. That's the move.
Well, we'll see what happens in November. Okay,
yeah.
Maybe computers will be easier to get. We'll
absolutely.
And then they ended Microsoft with one last game here, and that is Redfall.
This looks really fucking cool.
It does look pretty good. This is a new game from Arcane.
Yep.
It is an Xbox exclusive, and it is coming out summer of next year. And it's like a vampire Left 4 Dead.
Yep. I like Arcane quite a bit. I think they do good work. Their games feel really good from a shooting perspective to me. I even played through a good portion of the latest Prey game they had, and their ability to, and you get this in Dishonored also, but outside of shooting, when you start to add in like spells and magic and other abilities, I think they do a really good job of balancing those, and that seems to be what they're going for here as well. I did appreciate when they talked about this game, they said, hey, this is completely playable by yourself or with friends. And I thought that was smart, because Left 4 Dead never felt good by yourself. And not that I want to play a game like this without friends, but Game Pass makes that easier. I think that it's something that more people have access to, especially with like cloud and what that looks like. So I think it looks good. It's got a great style to it.
Yeah, I thought it had a really nice trailer. But yeah. Let's move on to Square Enix. How's that sound?
It sounds great. I gotta make sure Better Johnny's here. He seems to be doing what real Johnny's doing and taking the night off, but I think we just fixed that here.
All right.
Yeah, we didn't mention that. Johnny's out of town. Or he was out of town. He might still be out of town. Who cares is what we should say.
Yeah, like he's getting back, but he might not be back in time to be on this. And even if he is, he hasn't watched a bunch of this stuff yet. So
do you want me to?
We won't count on him.
Start the order that you have it here, Chase.
Yeah, I've got all this stuff in chronological order, so I think that makes sense to do that if we can.
Okay.
They started with Guardians of the Galaxy. This, before we get into that, I think this was a much more traditional style video stream that we've seen.
Yeah.
From E3 people before. It was fine. They kind of, it was better for my hand for sure. It's like, okay,
yeah,
like we've announced the game, we've shown you the trailer, now we're going to talk about it for another 10, 20 minutes. Man, they talked about Guardians of the Galaxy for a long time.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got to try and bring back some sort of fan favor here. Look, I think the game looks slick.
I don't know. It looks okay, and they said what they needed to do. It's a single player only. We promise. It's not Avengers. Stop saying it looks like Avengers. Like, it's definitely not. It doesn't have all that garbage you hate about Avengers in it, and it's okay.
Yep.
You are Star-Lord. You're Star-Lord, and you're only Star-Lord. Rocket? Fuck Rocket. You are only Star-Lord.
Yep. Now, I wonder if you'll be able to do something where it's like Mass Effect, where like you can pull in their abilities if you needed to, which it looks like maybe that's
no. They showed that in the trailer.
Okay.
Like there is attacks that you can do. You can have them do an attack, like he has Groot lock somebody into place with roots, and then he has Rocket fire a big explosion at him when they're trapped, which is pretty cool. I think that's a cool idea. Even better is that they have licensed music that you can kind of turn into like a super mode where Star-Lord just runs up, he plays his cassette player, and he's like, guys, let's rock. Turns on a song, like a real licensed song, and everybody gets powered up as they can just spam a bunch of super moves. And that was a really cool idea. It seems all right. I really enjoyed that first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. The other one, I'm not sure, was as much my thing. It was fine. And then, of course, I have resentment for Guardians of the Galaxy because they took my acronym for Gamers on the Go.
Yeah. Damn it.
So, other than that, I have no real issues with the Guardians.
Did they give any time frame for this?
October 26th. How's that for a time frame?
This year?
This year.
Holy shit, that's cool. I'm excited about that. That's cool.
Yeah. So that's a little something there for you. They did it a little bit after. I didn't think it was that interesting to talk about, but they did pay some lip service to Avengers. There's some content that's out now. There's some content that's about to come out. In June, there's like a free update for Cosmic Cube. I don't know all this Marvel bullshit. There's some scientist, some other bullshit. Then there's something else that comes out sometime this summer that I didn't really pay attention to. And then the one that comes out later in the summer and beyond is the War for Wakanda expansion that brings in Black Panther and has some more news story stuff there. So
Did they say also really quick? I'm sorry for as we button up Guardians here. What's that? Is it on everything?
I believe it's on everything.
PS5,
Yeah,
PS4, Xbox. Okay, okay, that's everywhere. Cool.
Yeah, not Switch, but we knew that.
Well, maybe it will be.
Who knows? We'll see. But yeah, so that was the Avengers stuff. I it's whatever. It seemed fine if you're still playing Avengers. Let's talk about Final Fantasy.
Okay, let's do it.
They didn't really say.
I learned who Yuffie is.
Okay. This trailer is short and it doesn't tell you jack shit. They're calling this the Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster. They're bringing out the first 6 games, Final Fantasy 1 through 6, coming to Steam and mobile.
Interesting.
And because the versions that are on Steam and mobile now are bad. Have you seen those versions?
No,
they're like smooth versions that have shitty text on them.
I played. So the very first taste I had of any of these was Final Fantasy, the very first one, on my iPhone back in like 2009, 2010. And
not a great way to play that game.
No, because then on iOS it couldn't handle it, but also on here, if you got any sort of like phone call or message, it took you out of the game, and you would lose your save status. Yeah. It just fucked you over so bad. But yeah,
didn't you have that same problem with Chrono Trigger
too? Yep.
Yeah. God.
But I think they've since fixed that.
Well, okay. Well, now they might be fixing it for real. I don't know. They're calling this Pixel Remaster, which doesn't sound like you're just porting Final Fantasy 1 through 6 proper to PC and mobile anymore. It sounds like they put out a tweet. They've been very cagey about this. They haven't actually shown what any of this would actually look like. But they said on Twitter that they would be pixel perfect.
What?
Remakes or remasters. Like, I don't know what that means. Pixel perfect to what? Right. Pixel perfect to the original game? Because if that's the case, it's not really a remaster. You're just making the same game again. It's a port. So you're going to do something to it because you're calling it a remaster. But what the fuck does any of this mean?
And this is a terrible splash screen.
Yeah, it's a dumb thing. And also, they said coming soon. Fuck coming soon. Give us a fucking date. Give us a month. Give us something. That was real dumb. I would love to play Final Fantasy VI. It's one of the ones that I haven't played. I do have a GBA copy of it, and I'll probably just play that on my Analog Pocket when that shows up.
There you go.
But I would like a nice way to play this game on a television, and I guess the Analog Pocket's going to be the way to do that. And it sucks that Square just can't put out these games on the Switch. Just here, 1 through 6 on the Switch. There you go. That's what you're looking for. It's always got to be some bullshit that you have to go through.
It was dumb looking.
Speaking of some bullshit, why don't you load up this Babylon's Fall?
You don't like
trailer.
this, huh?
It's Platinum Games, so I was excited when they first announced this a year ago, 2 years ago, something like that.
Yeah.
I got excited because it's a new Platinum game. Love Platinum. They make great stuff. Seeing this trailer, it just didn't look very good to me. Did it look good to you? Did this interest you?
So here's what interests me about it. It's now a live service game. I think that's interesting. I like that it's a 4-player co-op game.
Co-op stuff's cool. Like a co-op Platinum game sounds all right.
Yep, I could get down for that. But I think overall, I don't know. Like it's fine, I guess. But I just don't know what this is going to look like. And like playing, I think that the trailer does not tell the best story for what this is.
I think the other thing I really hate about the trailer, everything is in such soft, like not soft focus, or it just like has
Gaussian blur all over it.
Yeah, a lot of blurrish stuff to it. It just doesn't. I just don't think it looks very good. It's really hard to to see what's happening, and it's fast paced because it's Platinum. But even then, just some of these effects just do not look very good to me. I don't know.
Trying to find
and also it's kind of playing in a Dark Souls style tone as
Mhm.
well, in terms of like environments, and I'm kind of tired of that dark medieval fantasy stuff that's going on, grimdark stuff.
It reminds me a little bit too of Genshin.
Yeah, but Genshin has personality at least. Like
Yeah,
it is colorful and bright and interesting. I mean, it is anime. It's anime.
yeah.
That's a personality, and this just doesn't have it. In fact, one of the things they said, because they talked about this game a little bit after with some of the developers at Platinum, and like one of the artists said, "Yeah, I was told not to get too crazy with anything. I was told to make it look like this stuff could really happen." Or people wear stuff that they could really wear
That
and look
there's
like real people. It's like
the,
that's a dumb idea. Why would you do that? Oh yeah, it's right. That's what Jiggy's talking about. I think before they
pop
had
it in
only
there.
announced this for PS4,
Yeah.
and now they popped it in. Like, yeah, we're gonna make a PS5 upgraded version as well. Totally, Jiggy's right.
Shots
Astral Chain
fired.
had a distinct look to it, and that was something. Where this just felt like nothing to me, and that's a real disappointment because I like a lot of Platinum's output.
All right.
Also, no release date for this, but you can sign up for the beta on the game's website. So
Okay.
that's a thing you can do.
I want to know about this thing. I got the
Do you?
I got the
Do
demo.
you?
I got the demo downloaded. So here's my question. There was rumors before the show that Square was making a Dark Souls game
Yeah,
that was going to be set before any of the other Final Fantasy games.
yeah,
Is that what this is?
that's what this is.
But this is the one where he's got something against chaos.
Yes. So I don't want to. I don't. I'm not equipped to have this conversation as well as as well as some other people might be able to. What I can tell you, because I played Final Fantasy Dissidia Final Fantasy, which is the fighting game. Even though the Final Fantasy games kind of all take place in their separate universes, there is this thing that kind of ties them all together, and it's the idea of chaos versus I forgot what the light woman's supposed to be. Order, something like that. I think it's chaos and order. That might be it. So chaos is kind of maybe the reason that all these bad guys are bad. Specifically, at least in the case of Final Fantasy One.
Yeah.
There is a character named Garland who I guess was a big hero at one point, and then he gets corrupted by chaos, and that is what this whole trailer kind of is that chaos has corrupted this great warrior, and that's now the guy you're fighting. I have not played Final Fantasy One. Also, I can't imagine there's a ton of story in Final Fantasy One because it's an NES game, so it didn't have all that much. I think people have applied some story to it, retconned some story into it.
Yeah.
But this is a prequel to that, and this guy who's just wearing a fucking t-shirt and jeans, which makes no goddamn sense, decides that he needs to come and kill Chaos, which apparently he's not going to be able to do because this is a prequel to Final Fantasy One. And Garland is an enemy in that game, so you can't win. I don't know. I don't know why they're doing this.
Somebody, I gotta find it. It was on Twitter. Somebody photoshopped. So, where he's at was Ninja. This,
God damn it.
This was Jesse from Breaking Bad, and they just put the sword on his back.
Great.
I can't remember who they had over here. Holy shit.
I hate it.
It looked so dumb, but so perfect. It was so good.
I don't know. Tetsuya Nomura is involved with this game. The Kingdom Hearts man himself. The Final Fantasy VII Remake man. We like Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah.
He's capable of doing cool stuff, but this wasn't it for me. And this is how they ended their show. and man, what a bummer.
No mention of
As
the
a
next
person who was
remake.
waiting, do what?
Nothing about the next Final Fantasy game that they've already showed. Nothing about the next chapters or chapter of the Final Fantasy VII remake. Like,
no word on Project Triangle Strategy, which I thought was at least something they'd throw out.
Yeah.
Hey, because they've done that. They did that with Bravely Default 2 before. Hey, we heard your feedback on this. Here's the thing that we fixed.
Yeah.
And just there wasn't that, and that was disappointing. This, welcome
to Jackass.
Not a good way to end your show. Not a good way to end your show.
Well, let's move over to a different show.
Yeah, let's talk about the PC gaming show, which was fine. The PC gaming show has been like Devolver Light to me, for multiple years. Not in terms of length. This was a long thing. This was an hour and a half.
It's one of the longer ones.
Of shit. This was one of the longer shows, longer streams that was out there. And I think they do a halfway decent job of trying to be funny, trying to kind of tell a story, having recurring hosts that do, they're decent shtick, and that's fine. But Devolver just knocks it out of the park every year.
Yep.
And this is not quite that. And a lot of these games kind of miss me because I don't have a PC, and I know I'm not going to get to play some of these, or it means I have to go and do my research to figure out, okay, they're only going to announce PC stuff here, but is it coming to other consoles? I have to look that up stuff later.
Sure.
So I didn't mention everything here that showed up. I just picked out the things I found interesting, and I think you have a couple in here too that you grabbed.
Yeah.
So let's just kind of run down this list. Some of them can be pretty quick, like something like Dodgeball Academia. I thought just had a cool look to it. It is coming out for all the consoles: PC, Switch, PS4, and Xbox One. It's coming sometime this year. And I think the most exciting thing to me is it's kind of a sports RPG in the same kind of vein as those Game Boy Color Mario sports games, that Mario Tennis, Mario Golf.
Yeah.
But even more, this is kind of I've had this game idea in my head that I wanted like Persona Baseball.
Yeah.
And or like a baseball story. Like we've gotten golf story. I wanted a baseball story. Now we're getting sports story at some point.
Hopefully on Tuesday we'll hear more about that.
Yeah, that's the fingers crossed on that. But I thought this was cool, and you actually do build a team of dodgeball players, and they get some special skills, and you level them up in different ways. And that seems like a cool thing for me. I think I'm digging what this thing is doing. And I can't wait to put some time into Dodgeball Academia.
Yeah.
Lakeburg Legacies also I thought had a really good look to it. This it's kind of like a Crusader Kings. Jason Wilson from GamesBeat labeled this as Crusader Kings meets The Sims.
Yeah,
where
that's 100% what it is.
Yeah, like you're kind of doing legacy stuff, but also you're doing a little bit more specific character management and matching people up and having a fun time. It kind of looks like a Shakespeare simulator to me in a way, where you're just making mischief and putting people together and seeing how it affects your kingdom here. And I thought that just had a nice look to it, and
absolutely,
and seemed like it had a cool idea.
No, this is neat looking for sure.
Next up is Silt.
Speaking of Play Dead games.
Yeah, hey, Silt, it's another one of those inside looking games.
Yep.
But I guess actually closer to Limbo.
Yeah.
Because it's more black and white like Limbo was, but you're swimming in this one. So you're kind of able to transfer your soul into other creatures to be able to solve some puzzly things, but you are going around this really eerie kind of disturbing area. Like it's all underwater, but you're seeing some trees and stuff. Like it's kind of trippy.
I think it's gonna be a very unsettling game.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's 2022. Is that
early 2022?
Is that one confirmed for anything besides PC? Do we know?
I did not see it announced for anything else.
Okay. Right on. This
I
next
believe
one,
you put the next one up. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's pronounced Kashan, or I think that's how it's pronounced, or around that.
Yeah.
So
I believe you.
this one's really interesting to me. So you are managing a space station, in which Earth is dying, and you're the manager of that station and humanity's last hope. The trailer is really cool. It had this voiceover happening with it, but the way that they show and end it, I think was pretty interesting. They don't give you a whole lot of details of what that management's going to look like, but for me, I like that type of like busy work. I like a working class game quite a bit, and the idea that you are trying to get off of a dying planet, which is home, is I think pretty fucking clever. But the way that this ends was pretty neat, I thought.
Maybe you should watch some Gundam.
Is that what Gundam is?
It's part of what Gundam is for sure.
Uh,
And that's coming out 2022, right?
yeah. So let me pull this up here. There's basically this countdown going, big celebration happening, and then all of a sudden, this weird thing happened, and the fucking moon ripped apart.
That's not good.
Not good at all. So I thought that looked really cool. I want to know more about it. That is 2022. I don't know much more about it besides that.
Cool. Well, the next game, it's a real shame Johnny's not here because he's our expert. Hello Neighbor 2, which is definitely going to be vying for Game of the Year. We know that Hello Neighbor 1 was a bona fide classic, and this game can only go up from there. It's written in the stars, right?
Yeah. I'm being referred to something to watch from Jiggy.
Yeah, maybe I need to watch that too. I've never heard of Gasaraki.
Gasaraki, okay. Fuck Hello Neighbor.
Yeah, no, definitely fuck Hello Neighbor. Like that's, yeah, I have no interest in this. I just put it there for a joke. Let's talk about Tinykin instead, which I think looks really cool. This it looks like a Pikmin game that is a little bit more of a platformer.
Yeah,
and there is a Pikmin platformer for 3DS. This is not that. This is more interesting than that. You are kind of this Captain Olimar looking guy, right down to the idea that you are tiny in a large world, and you're using these little alien creatures.
Oh, that's cool.
And you're throwing them around. They follow you. You use them to move things. You use them to climb things. It seems like a cool world, and not enough games do Pikmin stuff. Like not enough games have taken Pikmin's ideas and run with them. And this game looks like it's doing that, and that's awesome. I'm super excited for what this is, and it's so far announced for PC and unannounced consoles for 2022. So it'll come out to something I imagine that I own, and that'll be nice.
Nice.
Yeah. Try it.
Sacrifice.
You can do it. Sacrifier, yeah, not sacrifice. Sacrifier.
I had to catch myself there.
This one's a little weird to me. Again, like similar to the Wholesome Direct. This is a game that is currently on Kickstarter that has not fulfilled its Kickstarter yet, but they also sound real confident that they will. Currently, as we're talking here, it's at $37,343 of its $99,216 goal, but it just started. It has 29 days to go, so they literally just started this Kickstarter. I imagine it's going to make it. In fact, I think this looks cool enough that I'll probably end up backing it eventually. I haven't quite yet, but I'm considering it.
Also has that look.
This is that HD 2D looking thing. It is they're calling it a classic RPG with a modern twist. This is actually being made by a Polish studio, a smaller studio in Warsaw, Poland, and but it's got that kind of JRPG look to it. It looks cool. I like a lot of what it's doing.
I would agree.
interested in what that is. It's just weird because they are saying PC and all consoles in 2022. They are that confident to say that that's what they're doing, and the game hasn't even been backed yet. And also, the for a game of this scope, it definitely costs more than $99,000 to make.
Totally.
So I feel like they have their money already. So I'm wondering what the Kickstarter's exactly for. I looked through the Kickstarter page and couldn't find whatever they needed. Like, oh, we just need marketing dollars, or oh, we just need that. Like, I couldn't find anything like that. It wasn't even like, hey, the game's 98% done. We just need your help to get that last 2%. It's just kind of at a weird tone from the developers.
For sure.
And yet, I really like what I'm seeing, and so I kind of want to throw them some money anyway. So we'll see what's going on with that.
Absolutely. I've got this one pulled up for us here for Mech Jammer.
Okay. Mecha Jammer.
Mecha Jammer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about this one.
Yeah. I mean, it is another pixel-based game. There's a lot of pixel-based games that all have really nice lighting and effects, and this one is no different. I think what's interesting about this is kind of how it plays. They're calling it a cyberpunk horror RPG,
Okay.
and it has simultaneous turns. So it's like a tactical game, but it's a simultaneous turn-based game, and that's interesting to me. I don't exactly know what that means.
Yeah,
But
that one has a very strange. It's a little muddy looking to me. I think I'm not. I definitely don't like the talking heads that they got, but a lot can change with that.
Yeah. And that has no release date yet, but I believe they've only said PC so far. So
that makes sense.
Not thinking it would come to anything else. Bobby, I believe you put in the next one, so why don't you tell us more about Far Changing Tides?
Yeah, I really enjoyed Far Lone Sales. I did a little stuff back with the Lumberjack Smack days covering it, and it was a neat management game. You were in a post-apocalyptic setting, and you had this kind of like a train or a bus, but it had, of course, sails, and you had to manage a bunch of stuff on it. You encountered people that could potentially help out and be a part of it. There's some puzzling that would happen there as well. This is looking to be more of that, but this time you have a seafaring vessel, which it looks bigger also than what you had on the last one. So I wonder if there's a lot more complexities inside of it. And I was hoping because they do a really awesome cross section. One of the things I love about it is you can zoom out. So when you're playing it, your caravan can be like this big on screen, and you're just taking in the world around you, and then you pull
like real Banner Saga style.
Mm-hmm. And then you just hold a trigger and move in, and you can go right inside of it. It was a game that really did some interesting things with emotionally like charging you to be like by yourself and isolated, and what that looked like from a story perspective. It's got a lot of charm. I think it would be a good game with impact contender. And I'm excited to see what this one does. It came out on everything the last time. This looks like it's being wishlisted for Steam right now, but you can play the first one on any console that's out right now. So
very cool.
I'm going to check out for sure.
And that's late 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We got a couple more here from this show. Let's talk about Death Trash.
It's about time.
Great name. Really good name. This is coming to consoles and PC. It's coming to early access sometime this year. This is another one of those pixel games that's got a good pixel art style. And, there's... I think we've gone from just normal pixel-based games that I think people have gotten a little tired of when you're going for like that 16-bit look.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of games that are now doing, we're still pixel-based, but we are modern pixel art that is really detailed with a lot of effects over the top of it, and I'm really enjoying that art style, that general
absolutely
way that people are building games. And this one looks gross and has a lot of undulating weird shit going on, but
Death
it's
trash.
yeah, it's death trash. It seems interesting. I kind of want to know a little bit more about it.
Chase, this next game is
Yes.
I'm very into what's going on with this next game.
I'm also kind of into this game. It's called Citizen Sleeper. I it's got like a 3D world. It's a space station,
Yep.
but the talking heads for this are not, I wouldn't call them anime, but they are definitely like anime inspired
Yep.
2D art. And there are a couple of artists that I follow. In fact, the one who did this, oh, what is his name? His name is like Junkie Blackie Junk, something like that. He's actually the one who did the art for these.
It looks so
God,
good. But it's also like you're doing these things with, well, obviously like the skill tree that they're showing off right now is really cool, but the way that you can bring these dice roll into all the dialogue that's happening around it and how you can chance it, like I think that's really fucking cool. It's just so neat. Like there's some really interesting systems they showed off on it, and I think the trailer, go back and watch it with sound when you can, because there's some really great stuff happening there as well.
Yeah. The artist is oh god, I'm gonna butcher this one. Guillaume Singelen, and his Blackie-san on, not Giggy-san, not Jiggy-san,
But Blackie-san.
Blackie-san
Got
on
it.
Instagram. If you want to see their art, they have some really good art, some comic stuff that they do, and I think the art style that they're bringing to this game is really really rad. And yeah, I mean, you know how much I like Dicey Dungeons, and a game that is like, hey, it's Dicey Dungeons except like a much different style, a much different tone of game. That seems really cool to me. So yeah, definitely going to be looking around for that one. That comes out in 2022. I don't believe they've announced any consoles yet, just PC. But fingers crossed that it comes to something that I can play it on. All right, we got one more show. We also got Johnny in the chat, which eh.
Let's see here. We got one more for a future game show.
Yep.
Let's pull that up here.
The future game show, I thought the PC game show was generally fine. I didn't think it had a ton of stuff I was super interested in, but it had enough stuff that was kind of cool. The future game show, I thought was pretty damn boring. It was hosted pretty well. It had two prominent voice actors, and they did a solid job as they went through some of the games that were going in here. But I just found the games to be really, really uninteresting, or the ones that were interesting had already been shown either
Right.
at the PC game show or part of the Wholesome Direct or part of something else. We saw a lot of the same shit, and the stuff that we didn't see just kind of looked generic. The stuff that we hadn't seen before just kind of looked a little bit generic, and that's eh.
Yep.
But the trailer you're seeing right now of this game, Shim, which I can't remember what language it is, but it's the language is something about shadows. It's a word for shadow, and this thing looked really cool. But this was shown in like, hey, here's a quick montage of a bunch of games that we're not going to talk about, and I was like, this looks like one of the coolest games I've seen, and you're not gonna talk about this cool rad game. I looked up a little bit more about it. Apparently it was a student, or it is / was a student project, and now it is being made into a full thing.
God, man, I was just trying to make sure that I was keeping my 5-star notebook in order as a student, let alone like making kick-ass looking games like this.
It looks so good. I'm really interested in that. It says release to be announced. We don't know where it's coming, when it's coming, anything like that. But this mechanic of jumping from shadow to shadow, I think, is really cool. The next game was also in this similar montage of we're not going to talk about these awesome looking games. We're just going to kind of flash them up on the screen real quick. I believe this is pronounced Dome King Challenge, not, or Dome King Cabbage, not Dome King. It might be Dome King, but I think it's Dome.
Dome.
This is a visual novel.
Okay.
And it is, you play as a guy who plays a lot of Pokemon games, but is now going in for a job interview. But it's very trippy.
It seems that way.
By playing these kind of Pokemon style monster collecting games, it's starting to bleed into the real world for you, and you're starting to experience things in this kind of Pokemon style world that's happening, or like the Pokemon are invading your world because maybe something's happening to you. The game itself doesn't quite look like these trailers. This trailer is like a claymation kind of thing, and it's really weird and it's really attention grabbing. The game itself has a kind of more of a pixel art style that also I think looks really good and really trippy. And the beginning is extremely evocative of Pokemon, where it has Dome King Cabbage, and it actually even has the Pokemon title screen where it swaps between the different monsters like it does in Pokemon Red and Blue. It's really, really, really interesting. I ended up watching a demo. You can actually play a demo on itch.io right now, but it doesn't work on my version of iOS, so that's a bummer. Maybe it'll work if you have an older version of iOS and the PC version is still there as well. But I would encourage people to either go try that demo or to watch. There's an 8-minute YouTube video of somebody going through the demo, and it seems pretty cool. It is just a visual novel, but I think it's got a really great look. It's got a really great soundtrack, especially that has some of those harsh Game Boy kind of beeps and boops that are happening alongside a more kind of ambient, interesting soundtrack that lends itself to the idea that this game is like the world of this Pokemon monster collecting game is invading the real world.
That's
and
crazy.
The music ties into that. It's one of the coolest things I saw today, and it was something that only got like a 30-second trailer that didn't even show you anything about the game, and it's still like one of my games of show.
That's awesome, man. I want to know more about it. I want to see what they're doing with it. That's out when again?
We don't know.
Okay.
It's all being made by one guy. Mostly made by one guy. It's got some of the art he had some collaborators for some of the art and for at least some songs, but for the most part, it is just one person putting together this visual novel.
Well, let's talk about this next one here.
Yeah, like this is a game that you own now.
I have it.
This is the first and only game so far that they've said is out now, like out now. That I think there was an expansion that was out. Oh, it was the Ooblets thing. Like Ooblets expansion is out now.
Yeah.
Or stuff that is like, hey, that game has been out for a little bit, but it's out now. This was, by the way, it just dropped.
Yep,
it just like this game literally just dropped, and that's Minute of Islands, which is a game we've talked about on the Casual Hour before, because I think it was it last month or 2 months ago where it was in one of our previews, monthly previews.
Last month.
I think that's right. And then it got pushed, and it just there wasn't really even a word of the delay of why there was a delay. But now it shows up here. They say it's out. You can go buy it, and you did that.
I did just that. I'm excited to check it out. I think it looks really pretty. It reminds me of a little bit more vibrant Sable in its art style. I think,
like a darker Adventure Time.
Yep. I picked up on PC, but I know it is coming to other platforms.
I think it's coming to everything.
Yeah.
I know it's coming to Switch and PS4, but I think it's out for everything.
But apparently the story is supposed to be pretty compelling on it. They're calling it an emotional story, and I want to know more about what that is. It looks really pretty, and I have it downloaded. I'll try and fit it in where I can this week. It's going to be a little difficult, but I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah. To Smurf's question here, asking if we felt like a lot of the games were heavily Japanese influenced this year. I don't know if I would say this year over any other year. I think you certainly have a lot of people who grew up with Japanese games and bring some of that influence in to their games as they grow up.
Yeah.
I think maybe it's just the ones that we're thinking more prominently, or the ones that are more interesting to us, just end up having more of those cues to them. But I mean, I certainly see, like, yeah, the Dome King Cabbage and the Citizen, not Citizen Sleeper. What was the other one? Sacrifier. Like, those games are not being made by Japanese studios, but they definitely have a lot of Japanese influence in them, and those are just the ones that I, for whatever reason, am gravitating to because I think they look really cool. That might be more of the reason of that.
You know what else looks really cool, Chase?
Yeah. Let's talk about this. You actually had been watching some more stuff about this before today. I remember you sent a text in our casual hour thread about Ollie World.
I think this game has such a good style to it, and it's a nice departure from the other ones as far as what they're doing with it. I like skate games. I like skate quite a bit. I don't know if I have the patience or time needed to really hone my craft there, or hone my skill a little bit better, where I could play something like this, I feel, and interact with these weird ass townspeople, have this off the fucking wall style, and just enjoy putting some time in to go to this world and skate and take it in. Like, I think that sounds really nice. Really nice.
Definitely. This got announced at like a Nintendo Indie World, I think it was, and yeah, I mean we've kind of I enjoyed the other Ollie games. They are hard. They are not the easiest thing to control, which does make me worry a little bit about this. They talked about having a flow state in Ollie World, and like, yeah, I mean eventually you can have a flow state, but this game is tough and it's made to be tough. I think they paid a bit of lip service to say, hey, we're trying, we have options in there to make it a little easier to skate and do some cool stuff, but we'll see. I mean, I like what it's going with, though. I like the direction this is taking, and I'm definitely interested in playing Ollie World. And then the last game that we saw was one that was exclusive to the Future Game Show and kind of made up for this show being pretty boring, taken as a whole. Because this game was pretty exciting, especially exciting for me, and I'll tell you why here in a second. But the game is called Immortality, and we just got a pretty quick teaser. It's a new game from Sam Barlow, who is the maker of Her Story and also the maker of Telling Lies. And the game is about a movie star who made 3 films. None of those films came out, and this celebrity has also kind of faded out of existence. So they didn't show what the mechanics are going to be or anything like that, but it does sound like an interesting mystery, which is stuff that Sam Barlow has made in the past.
There's some definite talent there too. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, pretty excited for what we're seeing there. Yeah, he's got the co-writers, like people from Mr. Robot and things like that. That's pretty cool. And it ties really well as we start to wrap up and kind of finish out this show here. I recorded a podcast this morning, in fact, with friend of the show, Pierce Corshane. We just did a podcast on Her Story, and
how'd it go?
Then this game got announced the same day. What a crazy thing. Anyway, that Her Story podcast is edited. It's going to go up on Tuesday, so you guys can listen to it then. I'll send out a tweet on gamersonthego.com, or I'll send out a tweet on @GOTG podcast, and then I'll put up the post on gamersonthego.com, so you can watch that stuff about her story. And that was a really fun podcast to do, and I got to sneak it in right before Microsoft started. So it's just been a busy day of talking about games and looking at the future of games. So that's pretty cool.
I was gonna wrap it up there for a second, but we were asked a question. Yeah. Jiggy was asking what we're most excited for. He's asking the people who are actually doing this, Johnny, not you. What we
also Elden Ring wasn't shown today. Get out of here, Johnny.
Yeah.
And Halo didn't look all that great. So
if
swinging a miss from Johnny over there.
I'm gonna pull up this trailer again really quick.
Okay.
So this was such a big game for me. I think Replaced looks just fucking great. I like the tone. I like the style a whole lot. I think the combat looks really cool on it. I want to know more about it. I feel really strong about that one. Coming back down here to the PC gaming show. I want to know more about Kishan or Ikshan or whatever that game's actual name is. I think I keep coming back to this, and I really want to know more about Redfall. Like, I want to see what Redfall looks like in action, because I like Arcane. So, like, from Microsoft standpoint, and the Xbox showcase, I think Replaced really resonated with me. And I'm gonna watch.
And that's
this.
Impressive because there are so many other games, like we mentioned, that kind of just look like Inside, and this is one of them. But it distinguished itself by just being so damn cool and so good looking, and that's a hat tip to
this. I gotta watch this again right here. This fucking fight, the camera movement is just so good. God, it's so good. But yeah, Forza. I'm excited to see what that is and what that's going to be. But Chase, what about you? What took the cake for you?
I mean, again, grain of salt, because I did back these things, but I'm most excited for Psychonauts 2 and Eiyuden Chronicle. Again, I put money in there, so you can't listen to me on those two. But I thought they looked good. Replaces up there. Any of those inside-looking games that we talked about, I was pretty excited about. Although I think still the one that I'm most excited about of those is the Trek to Yomi that we talked about yesterday. I think
let me see if I can.
That one still has the coolest look to me.
Let's pull that up here. I don't think Johnny's seen that one yet.
While you do that, Forza Horizon 5, that might be something to make me get a PC, because it just looks that good, and I really enjoy playing those games. Dodgeball Academia seemed like a thing I would totally pick up and play. Tinykin seemed like a thing I would pick up and play. Sacrifire is a thing that I'm considering backing based on what I saw there. And then these last couple that we talked about in the Future Game Show, Shim, the shadow jumping game, and that Dome King Cabbage. Those are the other ones that really jumped out to me of like, oh, these look like cool, interesting concepts and really great art styles. I want to know more about what these games are.
Totally.
Man, Trek Yomi looks so good.
Does I am curious. I want to know a little bit more about Starfield. It's pretty ways out. I wanted a bit more from Halo. I feel a little let down by Halo, as we mentioned. Now I'm just bracing myself to be let down by Nintendo on Tuesday. Because
they'll have something cool. They will have something exciting, and also even if it's a bummer, you already are getting the thing you want. Like Mario Golf is just about to come out. What more do you want?
True.
Shut up, Bobby. You got everything you want.
Johnny's gonna say the Starfield teaser was bullshit. Well, at least they have a date for that one, Johnny. Your precious Halo still is coming out in holiday. So we'll see what happens there. Enjoy hanging out with Craig. I mean, look, Halo, all that shit today. Like, I think that looking back, Chase, we both agree Microsoft had a really strong presentation, and I feel that if you were, I feel like I say this after almost every conference, but if you're on the fence on Game Pass, what else would it take to get you off of the fence? Like, I don't know what else it would take to get you off the fence, because they are making it very apparent that that is the destination to be. And
Yep. I mean, the only reason I'm not on it is because I just don't play on those platforms. If I had a PC, it'd be a no-brainer. If I played on Xbox, it'd be a no-brainer. But as a PlayStation and Switch player, it's the one thing that's keeping me from Game Pass. And even then, it's like, man, this seems like such a good deal. Even if I can't play it, I should get it because it is such a good goddamn deal.
I know. So we'll see what happens. Like I think that they were really confident in what they were doing, what they were showing, all except for Halo. Like they just didn't seem very confident when they were going over Halo, especially after that. And like not to rehash what we talked about, but just their choice of lighting and what they chose not to show. The multiplayer stuff looked cool, but again, right there's just some stuff missing right now. And I thought that they would use this opportunity to fill in the gaps. Fable, missing for me. One or more, but at least it got announced, or not announced, but checked in on.
Yeah, they paid lip service.
So let's talk a little bit about this week as we're wrapping up our not really show, but just us hanging out. Tomorrow we're going to go back to Fights in Tight Spaces. You might be driving this time. They got a huge content update. Well, there's been two since we've been playing it. They did a deck draft, which we were really excited for, but they've introduced a new deck where you have a knife now in that deck.
Yeah. It's all about bleeding damage.
All of that. They've retooled the gangsters, and they've changed some of the art with it. So we're gonna fire that back up. We really like that game here, as you all know. So we're gonna do a little Fights in Tight Spaces tomorrow night. Wednesday, we're back to what you've been playing, right? No.
Yes.
Yes and no.
It's going to be like a shortened what you've been playing because we're mostly going to be talking about E3. Yeah. We'll talk about some E3 stuff that happens on Monday, on Casual Mondays, I'm sure. But we'll save a lot of the big discussion for what happens Monday and Tuesday, and then kind of just like a recap of the whole show on Wednesday for casual, or for the casual hour proper.
Yeah, and that'll be a good time. We haven't talked too much about Friday. We've mentioned trying to get Wreckfest going again. We really had a hard time getting No Man's Sky to work this past Friday.
Yeah.
So we'll see that.
I'm out of town this next Friday, if that matters. So
Johnny and I are actually hanging out in person on Friday, so maybe we'll do like a little live from the office, just chat and see what's going on.
I mean, if you guys decided to play Wreckfest, somebody else could win for a change. That'd be nice.
That's true. One of the other things, for those of you who are hanging out here with us tonight, because most of the people that are in chat are the ones who watch these that we put out, we're not putting out a quick look this week. The reason being is there's a lot of demos dropping right now with E3, and we don't want to get mixed up in all that. So what we're doing is we're making some lists of some of these demos that are going to be available for a limited time, and we're going to do a shorter version, maybe like a 10 to 15 minute video on some of those demos that are coming out. Could be a little bit longer, could be a bit shorter, but we're working on a list because there's some stuff for Xbox. There's been a few things already for Steam, and more that's going to be dropping soon. So we're going to do some quick looks.
If you see anything from that Steam Game Fest, man, that was a bummer when they was like, oh yeah, we've got Gabe Newell here on the PC Game Show, and he's going to say something. He's like, yeah, check out Steam Games Fest. We're not making any new games. Goodbye. That's basically all we got out of Gabe. Yeah. But if you see anything on that Steam Games Fest, definitely send it our way. If you want us to take a look at it, we'll knock out some quick looks.
And if like really, because it's us and Smurf and Matt right now. If you all would ever want to be on a quick look, bring a game. Say, hey, let's do it, and we can make that happen. But we'll be doing a little bit more recon work this week as we're getting some of those lined up and trying to get that done. And we know Father's Day's next weekend. That's going to be a busy weekend for everybody outside of the show. So we'll try and find some time. I've been slammed with puppy duty, and Johnny was out of town this past weekend, and then E3 was happening on top of all that. So Chase and I, rather than me playing shit, we decided it'd be fun to hang out and recap the show, which has been a blast and a lot of fun. And Wednesday night, maybe Johnny, when we end the stream, if you could just hop over to chat for like 2 minutes really quick over into our channel on Discord. that would be cool. But we just want to say thanks for everybody hanging out tonight. This was fun. Chase, thank you for putting the list together. Really great time. And this has been a lot of fun. Hopefully we can do something like this next year and recap the show again. Thanks,
Sounds
Jiggy.
good. Yeah, thanks everybody for watching. We'll talk to you here real soon.
Take care. Bye.